Ever since we first began living in the house in the mid-90s with 3 little girls, I became aware that there was a sense of another person who was living with us. I used to joke that this house had a ghost of children past because everybody who ever came here that was a child just seemed to make themselves at home real quickly and just play and have a good time and felt like they belonged. But more than that, one day I was walking up the front stairs and I kind of captured a glint out of the corner of my eye of a woman. And I saw it again several times over the years, not all the time, but once in a while. And I had this sense that there was another person with me, that she was in the house, inhabiting the house, and that she was my friend. She wasn't a bad person at all. She was glad I was here, and she was glad that the house had children again. The interesting thing is that as the years unfolded, we didn't really pay much attention to her, and maybe she didn't pay so much attention to us because everybody was really busy and going all different kind of places and doing a lot. As my girls got older and they all began, of course, going away off to college and this and that, the house got emptier and emptier. Eventually it was just my youngest daughter and me living here, and that's when we began to have all kind of commotion and all kind of situations happen. And it's difficult to describe the kinds of things that happened. They were a little bit, at first, the kind of things you could discount, like there would be electronic things that turned off at times they shouldn't turn off, or turned on at times they shouldn't turn on, things that would not work one day and then the next day they would. There was one night, I think she was particularly upset after the girls had been home, and then it was only one daughter left, and in the middle of the night I heard this great big thud down like at the front stairs. Well, I got up, looked around, and there wasn't anybody or anything around, so I just went back to bed. So it was a couple weeks before I was in that part of the house again and noticed that we had a great big mirror that had fallen off the wall, slid all the way down the stairs, but didn't break. It was just laying there. And another time then, in that same front stairway, I looked up and a piece of stained glass that I had hanging on the wall just all of a sudden had a piece missing out of it. There's no reason, that for that to happen. There was no explanation for any of these things to have happened. I would be walking along and there's some French doors in the downstairs hallway, and I would notice that a while ago I thought that door was, they were closed tight, but then there would be one leaf open, and then I would think, oh, I just must not have remembered right. So I would just close it up and not think anything of it. And then you'd walk back, a few hours later and there it would be open again. And then the strangest thing, I was sitting here one day in the morning with my coffee, just by myself early in the morning, looked down that hallway, and I watched one leaf of that door open up all by itself, and then it closed all by itself. And there was just no explanation for anything like that. It sounds goofy, it sounds strange that these kind of things can happen, and I was really kind of like very guarded about telling everybody about it or talking too much about it. And one person I didn't talk too much about it was my youngest daughter, because she seemed to be kind of afraid about all this, so I just didn't talk about it. Well, then one day she and I were right here in the kitchen, and we were talking with each other, and we got to sharing different things that she had observed, that I had observed, and it was like really crazy. Next thing you know, at the back door here, which is it's an 8-foot Victorian heavy screen door, it just opened really, kind of wide open, and just slammed all of a sudden. And there was no wind, there was no explanation for it. So the interesting thing, I've been away and then back, and we were doing a lot of scrubbing on the porches and getting everything sort of straightened back up. And she's been wanting to let us know that she's here again because she's been doing the same things. So anyway, she's not an evil presence, she's a good presence. She's been a friend to our family, and we would really like to take her with us, but we kind of think she wants to stay here. So we're hoping that whoever moves into the home and loves it will also embrace and love the ghost.